One of the most common reasons I hear people have for why they can't rank up is that their teammates are bad. If that's you, then what you should actually be doing is focusing on improving your own gameplay until you're good enough to carry your way out of that rank. I have a full video on that linked in the card above. There are, however, some things that you can do when you're playing with a bad team to make your chances of winning higher. So let's first go over the different types of bad teammates you'll encounter. The main ones are good players having a bad game. These people are usually pretty nice and you can see that they know how to play the game, but things just aren't going in their favor. There's the toxic players who won't listen to what anyone says and intentionally plays bad. But there's also another type of toxic players, which are the ones that are doing good stat-wise, but often go on their own as an attacker or maybe switches sides a lot as a defender and really doesn't want to work with the team at all. Then there's the new player or player that's low ranked. These people are usually pretty nice, but you can tell that they just aren't as experienced as the rest of the team. Let's start with the toxic players who intentionally plays poorly and doesn't try to win. With these players, you really can't do much to change their mindset or make them play better. I've had some encounters like this, where after a few rounds of winning and being positive, they change their mindset and stop trolling, but it's really rare. I do still recommend you not being toxic towards them even if they are towards you, as this is just gonna guarantee them trolling for the rest of the game. Instead, you wanna be nice towards them and keep playing your best to hopefully win a couple of rounds. That'll maybe make them stop throwing if you're lucky. If that doesn't make them stop trolling, then I suggest you to play off of them and try to get trade kills when they die. If they always push, then you can use them as a source of information. If no one shoots at them when they're pushing an area, then you can at least know that that part of the map is clear. You want to be careful pushing with them though, as they make a lot of noise and can easily get you killed. But I still suggest you that you go with them at least a bit to see if they die, and if they do, you can get the trade kill to make it a 4v4. If you can successfully do that when they push, then that's great. Let's move on to the good players just having a bad game. So like I mentioned before, these guys are usually nice people who know how to play the game well, but they're just unlucky at the moment. Your goal should be that they remain positive. A lot of times, even nice players can get tilted if they're not performing well. So if they manage to clutch a round or get a nice play, then you want to make sure to say something like good job to keep them positive. This can increase their confidence, which leads to them improving. If they don't improve from that however, and their aim for example seems really off, then maybe you want to talk to them about anchoring a site as a defender or going first as an attacker. These positions are usually easier to do with bad aim, as your main objective is just gathering information and making sure you're setting up your team for the win. You can also ask them to give a better teammate a rifle in exchange for something like a Spectre to increase your chances of winning a bit. Let's talk about the toxic players who are getting kills and are good, but at the same time being really negative and refusing to cooperate. Like with the other type of toxic player we went over before, you want to try to go with them if they push somewhere and get a trade kill, as well as continue being positive to hopefully make them less toxic. With this one though, a lot of times they're going to be changing positions or not going with a team, and I actually recommend that you just let them do that if that's the case. If they're going to the site that you're currently holding, you really just need to fill in the spots which aren't being played and let them do what they want. These people are usually really stubborn and can possibly turn into one of those trolling teammates if you start an argument with them, so be nice to them even if they aren't nice to you. It's fine to ask them to maybe not switch sides, but if they aren't responding or they're saying no, then all you can really do is change your own playstyle to fit better with theirs. I know it can suck, but if you start an argument with them and continue holding the spot that you've been holding for rounds, then all you're really doing is minimizing your chances to win, as you're leaving an area of the map open with no player holding it there, at the same time as letting the toxic player win, since they're still doing what they want either way. We got one left, and that's the newbie or person who's less experienced than the rest of the team. These players usually make a good amount of mistakes, and they can either be nice or toxic. If they're nice, then you want to give them advice in a non-hostile manner to increase the chances of winning. You don't want to give them a bunch of tips and advice unless they ask for it, just simple things that can benefit you in this game. So if they aren't doing good, then you can, like with a good player having a bad game, ask them to anchor a site, go first when entering sites, or drop guns for the team. These people usually have some bad habits too, like they can either be too aggressive or too passive. So if you notice something like that happening a lot, then you want to talk to them and simply tell them that and say that they maybe should stop doing it. Even if they're new, if they're a nice player, they usually listen to you. If these players are on the other hand toxic, then you want to refer to more what I said about earlier on how to deal with toxic players, as giving them advice is probably just going to cause them to get even more mad and possibly even throw the game. Hopefully this can help you in having an easier time dealing with bad teammates. See you next time.